The burning question on everybody's mind seems to be, can you make your own distress sprays with Reinkers? Now you may know that I'm very particular about my distress sprays and how they look, so I tested it out. Let's see the results. I get asked all the time, can't you just make distress sprays with distress Reinkers? I have no idea, so let's find out. Now, I use distress sprays way too often to DIY them. I would need way too many bottles. It would be too much of a hassle for me, but I could definitely see the benefit for those of you that may just want a couple colors here and there, or just want to try them out to see if sprays are actually something that you're going to want to use. Now, distress spray stains react a certain way if you add water to them, or when you're layering them on top, doing all of the things to make the background. So I'm going to see if the Distress Reinker DIY spray, it will react the same. I have never done this before, so what you're going to need is a Reinker, of course, of your choice, some sort of spray bottle. I'm just going to be using this mini mister, and of course some water. I'm going to be comparing them side by side in real time so that we could see how they react, if there's any similarities, if one does better than the other. I don't know. The Reinker might surprise me, and I might be DIYing all my distress sprays from now on. We'll see. All right, so I'm going to add probably 5 drops, maybe 6. This is a very concentrated color, and so we're just going to do that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to spray my water in here. I don't want to bring it to the sink because it will fill up too fast, and I could actually see the concentrate in there. So I'd say I'll fill it up and then we'll shake it and see what we get. All right, so we're gonna put the cap back on, give this a little shake. There we go. Let's see. Well, it's kind of hard to tell, but I don't know. We'll see. All right, so let me close this actually. There we go. All right, so I'm going to be using some distress watercolor paper for this, and I am going to be doing the DIY on the left and the regular distress spray on the right. So I made some seedless preserves and then picked raspberry. And then we're just going to spray it like we normally would on this side with the DIY, and then we'll do the same thing on this side with the regular sprays, and we'll see what happens. So I'm actually working on the back side, the non-textured side. So we're gonna kind of go fast here, and I'm gonna do a little bit there. Seedless preserves, and then picked raspberry. And then we'll do seedless preserves. And then picked raspberry. Okay. So far, looking great. Nothing crazy going on. Nothing weird, which is good. Let me just use a little bit of water to kind of help the sprays move and blend together. And kind of pick them up. Obviously, I can't get the sprays to do the exact same thing, but I tried to pretty much spray them in the same area, and then that way, I can try to get a similar look. I'm spraying the water around where I want the color to move, so that's all I'm doing there. All right, so we're going to dry these, and then we'll add some water splotches and see what happens. All right, so we're gonna add some water splotches to see how the color reacts. All right, they're both reacting pretty much the same, to be honest, which I'm actually really surprised, because I was always under the impression that there's something extra in the sprays that make it so that you get that wicking and cool effect with the sprays. We're not completely done with the background, so we'll see, but I don't see any difference. Maybe a slight pigmentation, the distress spray stains are darker than the Reinkers, but other than that, I'm actually really surprised. I can't believe that that's the result, to be honest. We're just gonna keep going and see what happens. Maybe, I don't know, maybe there'll be a turn for the worse. I have no idea. All right, now I'm going to add some splatters here because that's normally what I would do. Okay, and then on this side as well. And then what I do is I take some water in my hand and I fill it up, and then I just kind of let that water drop out of my hand. This is going to give you a completely different look than just spraying the water, because you get an overall spray mist of water on your background versus droplets, which again is going to have a you know, an effect on your background. You don't want a full stream. So like you could see how some of the water droplets got on some of the splatters, versus if I went like this, it's just going to move basically all of those splatters around, which is not what I'm going for. So I'll do the same to this one, just to be fair. Okay, so that's not what I really wanted, but I just wanted to show you because I do get asked quite often why I do the dropping of the water and splattering it with my fingers versus just spraying the water on, and that's why you get a completely different look. So we're just going to dry this, and then we'll add some more water splotches and see what happens. And then pick up this excess here. All right, and then we'll add some more water splotches. Droplets, splotches, splatters, whatever word you want to use. I use them all for the same thing, so it doesn't really matter. All right. All right, I think, to be honest, I really don't see any huge difference. They are reacting pretty much the same, and I would definitely give this a go if the Reinkers is what you have and you want to try out sprays. Sometimes you just have to do whatever crazy ideas come to your mind, especially if you have all of the supplies. You might as well try it out. You never know what can happen. You might come across something really cool. You can even mix colors, do all sorts of fun things. I wanted to try one more thing, but I'm going to add the water here so that I can be done with these backgrounds. But I actually really like how these turned out, both of them. I would not be able to tell the difference. So there you go. All right, so I wanted to see if I add a little bit of the Reinker here, instead of making like a whole, you know, spray and then a little bit here, if we just kind of smush it like we would with our inks. So, and then I'm just gonna add some water here. And then I'll add some water on my cardstock. This is watercolor paper. And then we're just gonna smush. See what happens. Happy finger dance. And look at that. That's amazing. And look at how concentrated that is. That's actually really nice, to be honest. All right, so let's take this one and just smush some more color on there. Why not? Especially maybe in some of those areas that don't have color. There we go. Look at that. All right, we're gonna dry this and see if we get the same reactions. All right, here we go. Look at, you can see that it's wicking, it's doing all the things, it's creating depth. I don't see any issues with creating your own sprays. We're gonna lift up some of that water. Look at how fun that is. More water. And then same thing on this one, because we added more color. So we want to add more depth to the background, right? All right, I can go on for days creating backgrounds and creating texture and depth on a background, but I don't see any problems with using your reinkers to DIY some sprays. Creating a background with distress sprays is just the tip of the iceberg of what you can do with them. So be sure to check out the playlist right here where I share more tips, tricks, techniques, even color combinations. You're not going to want to miss it. I'll see you there.